the Latvian Gambit, that is e4, e5, knight to f3, and now the move f5, is a very dangerous and aggressive response by black. And especially if you don't know how to react, then you can find yourself at the trouble zone. But don't worry, as today is your lucky day, because after watching this video until the end, not only you are going to equipped with a surprise weapon against this gambit, but overall this opening will never bother you for the lifetime. So fasten up your seatbelt and let's get started. Well, as you can see, I have highlighted by the arrows, white has many choices. And theory is very big in all these moves. However, I am going to recommend a simple approach here, and that start with knight to c3. And I can certainly claim that if this move does not provide the refutation, at least it creates some huge problem for the black camp. Okay, let's focus on database. There are three major choices, and let's see each by turn to find out what is the problem from the black side. The first move I want to consider is f captures e4, by far the most popular choice. And after this, if white is foolish enough to take on e4 with the knight, then black can play d5 and enjoy all sorts of fun. But white is equally smart, and he should start with knight captures e5, where the threat is very obvious. You want to play queen to h5 check and nab the rook in the corner. Well, accordingly, black has tried three choices, and amongst them the main lines start with knight to f6, whereupon I am going to advocate two approaches. If you are a solid player and really like the pawn advantageous middle game, then you can go for the following sequence, that is knight to g4, and after this, however black wriggles, he is going to lose a pawn. So for example, after d5, we can take this knight, and after queen takes, we can give this check, which at the end, let's say queen f7, queen takes, king takes, knight takes d5 and bishop to d6, certainly wins the pawn, and black has absolutely no compensation about it. So I guess this is the easiest and safest line if you want to play against knight to f6. Well, if you are like me who likes tactical battles, then I can certainly recommend you go ahead with the main line stop, starting with bishop to c4, so that we are looking at juicy f7 square. But problem is, can't black can play d5 here and neutralize all of our threats? Well, believe me, this is exactly white wants, as we are going to surprise black here with this nice piece sacrifice. Boom! What a move! Pay special attention, guys, to this tactical pattern, as it's going to happen in many of these Latvian Gambit variations. The big point is, after knight captures d5, we are going to deliver this check. And king to e7 is completely out of the equation, as after queen to f7, apparently there is a checkmate in 9. So you can try it by yourself. So that's why g6 is more or less forced. And after this, yup, you guessed it, knight captures g6, what else? Where white had sets up a cunning trap here. And if you look at the database, in the majority of the cases, black has tried the move knight to f6, which is in fact a very bad choice. And after this, white is completely winning with this wonderful check. It doesn't matter however black blocks. The next move, we are going to munch the rook, and at just 10th move of the game, we are exchange up. So this knight to f6 idea in majority of the cases get failed due to this line. Okay, that means black has to take this knight. And although white can take the rook here, I propose this aggressive approach. Queen captures g6, whereupon black has two choices. If you think that king to e7 is the right one, then I'm really sorry, because after this, by force, white is winning with the following sequence. Queen to g5 check, king to e8, and now you deliver this nasty check again, where the end result, queen e7, queen captures h8. White has 3 pawns and a rook against 2 knights, where black king is wide open, and as per the chess engine, it gives you +3 advantage, which is almost a huge one. So look at this, guys, how fascinating this line is. We are almost forcing black to playing only moves. And here, after king to d7, I recommend this straightforward approach. You take on d5, and it doesn't matter however black respond. Let's say main line here start with c6, white take on e4, and after king to c7, just wait for a while and count the material. White has 4 pawns for a piece and his king moving all around the board. And funny enough, even though engine gives only +1 advantage to white, in terms of practical point of view, this is simply outstanding position to play over the board. Let me give you a sample line. White plays d4 here. Nope, black can't take it, as the simple reason is, after bishop to f4 check, it doesn't matter wherever the king goes, the queen will be lost. For example, if king to d8, then we have rook to d1. And the same story goes if he goes to b6, as this time around black sweetie get trapped with bishop to e3. So that is why you can't take on d4, and you need to prevent this important check. So more or less the forced response is bishop to d6. Afterwards, white initiative run down the board with c4, grabbing the space, threatening c5. So b6, and now you play this very tactical move, bishop to f4, which by force exchange the bishop, but at the end when we take it back, you have two options. The engine's recommendation is a very safe one, castling on the king side. But I propose you should go ahead and castle queen side. The simple reason is your king is on the same side as the black king, and you have 3 connected passer which can literally run down the board and create havoc in the black camp. So this is the ultimate main line. And if white is getting this all the time, he should be more than happy. Okay, so apart from knight to f6, there are other choices, but that doesn't fit well. For example, black can already play a blunder move here, namely d5, happened in roughly 500 games. Well, after this, the task is very easy. The universal pattern, you give this check, g6, you take this pawn, and after knight to f6, yup, you guessed it, more or less same sequence, queen check, king to f7, and knight captures h8, whereupon white indeed obtained the exchange at just 8th move of the game. So nope, d5 is a wrong choice by the black here. I think more interesting is queen to f6, but this again doesn't help black, as we can continue with d4, protecting the knight threatening bishop to c4. So black response is force, he has to take it. And although theory suggests f4 here, I recommend this modern chess engine move, knight captures d3. Afterwards, black is having some huge issues. You can already see the engine evaluation here, it says plus 2.2. That means there is something horribly goes wrong in the black camp. For example, the majority of the games start with c6, stopping the knight intrusion and planning to play d5. Well, this can be simply met with this wonderful queen check. And now black has two choices. If he block the check with the queen, then this is the easiest one. You play bishop to e3, avoiding the queen exchange. And after the obvious move d5, white castle on the queen side. The point is, after knight to f6, we want to play rook to e1 so that after any black moves, let's say bishop to d7, we can deliver queen to d2. And I can't stop laughing here because look at the pathetic position of black. His king side pieces are stuck. His queen and king are in line for the rook, and black has yet to clear his queen side pieces. All in all, just look at the engine evaluation and you can see how pitiable black position is. Probably the most accurate response here is bishop to e7. But after this, I am going to propose a new move here which has never been played, and that is g4. And the big time idea can be revealed after d5 and g5, as recently I beat a 2300 in this line where my opponent played queen to e6 trying to exchange queen. I played bishop to e3. And now you see the plus side of g5. This knight cannot move. That means black cannot castle on the king side. So my opponent thought, okay, I'm going to go on the queen side with knight to a6, h4 and bishop to d7. But just one move, bishop to h3, and black can pack his bag and go home. Well, he tried queen to d6, a horrible blunder, as bishop to f4 finished the job, as queen has only one square to go, namely g6. But after this, the lightning strike, yup, you got it, bishop captures d7, and sadly, black can't even touch this bishop as his pieces get forked. Well, that sort of fun you can get in this line. The second most popular choice here is knight to f6. But after this, I don't think so you have any trouble to find white's next reply. Yup, bishop to c4, going for the same tactical pattern. Okay, black has four choices, and amongst them knight captures e4 is a first blunder by black, because after this we can simply take on e5, and there is absolutely no way black can protect on f7. Okay, by far the most popular choice is f captures e4, but this goes into the same direction which we have already seen earlier. Can you find the sequence? Let's test you. First, we take on e5, threatening on f7, black should play d5, and can you find the key move? Yup, knight captures d5, knight captures d5. Here comes this amazing queen check, and after g6, knight takes g6, pawn takes g6, and queen takes g6. Finally, we reach to our critical position via king to d7, bishop captures d5, where white obtained 4 pawns for a piece. And as we have seen earlier, this is practically a fun position to play over the board. Well, knight to c6 here will transpose to our next chapter. So the only move left is d6. And after this, we have this nice jab in the center, namely d4. Well, f captures e4 is by far the most popular choice. But I'm afraid after this, white get winning position with knight to g5. And the threat is very obvious. Not only you are looking at juicy f7 square, but when black plays d5, we have this nice tactical shot, namely d captures e5. The point is, after the base sequence, d captures c4, queen captures d8, king captures d8, pawn takes f6, threatening knight to f7 fork, so black response is forced. He has to play king to e8. But now we can save our pawn with this check, and there is a high profile game in the database which goes like this: king to e7, white plays bishop to e3, and after the h6 he simply delivered this check, keeping the king away from the pawn so that now he can safely recapture on e4, and at the end not only white has superior piece development with an extra pawn, but he has a tremendous attack coming up with castle on the queen side. The second move, e captures d4, can be successfully met with knight captures d4, attacking on f5. And when black take on e4, we can castle on the king side, setting up a high profile trap here, as the majority of the games continue with d5, where you know your stuff. Yup, this wonderful knight sacrifice, where at the end result, knight takes, queen check, g6, and this time around, instead of taking the knight, you can go for more with queen to e5 check, so that we can nab the rook in the corner. And what else? 11th move and exchange of position. Last but not least, what to do against the move knight to c6? Well, the answer is very simple. We have this typical jab in the center, and black has three choices. The first move, knight to f6, is probably the easiest one, because after this we directly transpose to the main line with the following move order: knight captures e5, pawn takes e4, bishop to c4, d5, and knight captures d5, knight captures d5, queen check, g6, knight takes g6, pawn takes g6, queen takes g6, and after king to d7 and bishop to d5, I think this is even the bad version of it, because black has already committed this knight on c6, which is not ideal as it blocking the view of the king. And if you think that black can get away with knight captures d4, then think twice, as after this, black is losing his queen. How? Let's check out. First, we play bishop to g5, attacking the queen. Black has to play bishop to e7. And after this nice piece sacrifice, bishop to e6, enable the answer, as after knight to e6 and the move rook to d1, black should resign the game. Well, the same story goes if we continue with f captures e4, the second choice, whereupon, we go knight e5, and after knight to f6, we play bishop to c4, inviting black to play d5, so that we can sack our knight and enter into the same position. So finally, let's check out what is going to happen after the unique move e captures d4. Well, against this, my recommendation is you take it with the knight. And since we are attacking on f5, black has two choices. Number one, if we take on e4, then this is pretty bad one, as after the following continuation, knight takes c6, b takes c6, queen check. You can't play g6 as your rook in the corner hangs. So by force, black has to play king to e7. But I'm afraid this is getting worse news as white has another dazzling sacrifice here. Knight to d5. And the point is, after pawn takes, queen e5 check, king to f7, and now queen captures d5, where the end we get exchange at yet another 11th move of the game. So nope, f captures e4 is a blunder house. Black should take this knight. But after this, we can take back with the queen. And as we are threatening on f5, the majority of the games continue with f captures e4. We continue with our lightning fast development with bishop to f4. And after knight to f6 and long castle, I think black is already busted, as engine evaluate this position +3 for white. And to illustrate my point, I like to show you a model grandmaster game from here, where black plays c6 trying to get d5 in. So white plays knight takes e4, attacking on f6 knight twice. Black eliminate this knight, but unfortunately this is exactly white wants, as after this queen check, sadly enough, black has to block it with the queen, as bishop to e7 can run into bishop to d6 and rook to e1, losing the piece. Okay, so queen e7, what else? And after this, I think any good chess player can demonstrate the winning combination. First step, you avoid the queen, and when black plays d5, you take out your bishop so that if the chance has been given, we can munch the black queen. Well, in the game, black desperately tried queen f7, but after rook check, bishop to e7, when you are so far behind in development, tactics really killed you, and this is exactly happened to black. White delivered bishop to g5, threatening the queen and bishop, so black plays bishop to e6. But this is just delaying the unavoidable. White took it, and after queen takes. Last thing, you don't play bishop to f5 here, as queen to g5 is good for black. So wisely enough, white plays f4, and after this black resigns, as even if you move the king out of the e-file, the bishop to f5 cannot be avoidable. That's it guys, I hope you enjoy and learn this surprising replica against the Latvian Gambit. Remember, at this point, you want to play knight to c3, and after this, I think however black plays, he get a disgusting position. And as I have demonstrated in this video, in most of the lines, it is white who enjoy all sorts of fun from the opening. And I think it is your responsibility to realize black, to forget about this gambit and look out for the good alternatives. Well, thank you for watching this video. Feel free to like, subscribe and comment, and I will see you in my next episode very soon. Bye and take care.